Okay. All right. So there we go. Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to uh, the Author Talk with Shae McCoy and Terry Henderson. Shae presenting it for us, West Baltimore Ruins. Um, and we at Redimas are very excited to host this event. It's funny. We were going to have a big art show in the store in Red Emma's to kick off a whole series of art installations, and that was scheduled for April of 2020. So obviously, it happened in March. But here we are. We're so excited that finally we get to have an event with Shae and celebrate. Uh, the book is out now, officially tomorrow, I think. So if you ordered your copy ahead of time, you can come pick it up. Shae will also be there at 10 tomorrow signing books, so make sure you get that signed. If you haven't gotten it yet, go on our website, get it. You still have time. There's still a few copies left, so they're going fast. This is a really great job, Shae. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And we're so excited. It's been really fun working with you and like getting to have this big celebration now. So I think with it looks like we've got some folks in here and a few folks are adding on every minute. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to you, Terry, and
Let's do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yay, thank you. Hi, everyone. I could not see you. I'm talking to Shae. So my name is Terry Henderson. I am a writer and a curator based in Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm so excited that I get to have this conversation with Shae McCoy today. Shae wrote this book called West Baltimore Ruins. And I'm nervous, so I'm just going to read the notes off of my phone. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. Shae, do you want me to just introduce you and then you talk a little bit? Or do you want to give it?
Sure.
Okay. So I got some notes. So Shae McCoy is born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. She's been building her brand and leaving her mark all over the DMV, one photo at a time. Since founding her blog Uncommon Realist back in 2013, Shae has curated a list of achievements that just keeps growing. From interviewing actors, activists, community leaders, and politicians to creating a spotlight for local artists, Uncommon Realist has become a hub for all things culture. In December of 2018, Shae created a project called West Baltimore Ruins, a visual story told by West Baltimore's daughter. The photos capture the beauty in the abandoned and dilapidated homes structures that inhabit West Baltimore and brings a new life to them. Shae hopes that her work serves as an inspiration for aspiring photographers and artists of all mediums. The inspiration behind the project was her life, the current climate of housing disparities in West Baltimore, and her curiosity about the way that West Baltimore will look in the next few years. So West Baltimore Ruins, I had the chance to get it last night. I yelled and cried a little bit. It's so beautiful. It's a photographic story by Shae McCoy. It's published by Silent Books, and it is a collection of photos that she took in Northwest, Southwest, and Central West Baltimore. And according to Shae, West Baltimore Ruins is a project that is an in-your-face, first account of what Baltimore residents in these communities experience every day. It is an artistic call out for city officials to see the cause of their neglect, and West Baltimore Ruins is a visual memorial. So the book for me is a correction of a historical record. It is a study by a Black artist from Baltimore telling her truth urgently and specifically. And I think West Baltimore Ruins is incredibly important. The tireless and beautiful work that Shae McCoy's book does is important. Each photo is important, and each conversation that we have, like this one today, about the effects of blight, things like gentrification in real life and in real time, is important. So thank you, Shae, for being a catalyst and for making just, you're the bomb. So thank you. So uh,
Thank you.
so I think I remember like a year ago, I saw you tweeting about how you wanted to write a book. And so it's just been really incredible to see it come into fruition. So how does it feel to be a published author?
I am just starting to feel the greatness of it because it was a journey. Like at first when I started, I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be a piece of cake, just it's photography, so I can just put all the photos together, blah blah blah. But once we got to like the nooks and crannies of everything, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. It got to some points where I did want to give up, but seeing the product and having it in my hands made everything like change. My emotions, my feelings towards it, like just changed because it just is so beautiful. And to see other people's reactions to it, I know I haven't seen, everybody hasn't gotten the book yet, but the people I have been able to give the book to, great reactions. So I'm like very pleased and proud of myself.
You should be. It's so good. It's so good. So I've been a fan of your practice for years. I know we've worked together before, but I think even before I met you, I was following Uncommon Realist when I moved here. So I was just kind of wondering, how did we get from Uncommon Realist, that platform, to today? How did that go? How did that happen?
I mean, it was just kind of like you know how you do something for a while and just kind of get, I'm not gonna say I got tired of it, but I just grew out of it. I started writing in 2013 for my blog. My first article was about Fruitvale Station, and everything kind of progressed from there. But after a while, it kind of like I just grew out of it, and I started photography because I wanted to have images to go with my journalism. I felt like, using images offline, like stock images, wasn't just, it just wasn't authentic for me. Mm-hmm. So I bought a camera randomly from someone on Facebook. And like, I just started going out every day, shooting different events. And I was doing this stuff for free at first. Mm-hmm. And then like people started hiring me, and then it just kind of like progressed from there. And as that progressed, I saw that my love for journalism, is still there, but the written part is just like not so much, especially after I went to school for it and like learned about all the different like technicalities and stuff. I was just like, I don't know if this is something I'm really going to want to do for life. Yeah. But I mean, my photography is some type of journalism as well. So I guess it's still there. It's just the writing part. Writing about people is kind of tiresome to me. So
yes. So no, that's what I love about like the subtitle, like a photographic story, because that's what it is. Like the majority of the book is photos, but it's definitely a journey. And then that, like, we'll talk about that later. But yes, you're still doing journalism, and this is fantastic. I'm glad you did this. So the next thing is, I'm not texting, I promise. So so one of the most powerful aspects of the introduction that I read is I'm just going to read the quote. It says, West Baltimore has aggressively opened my eyes to the irresponsibility and disservice of city officials done to urban Black communities. Ironically, these communities once thrived, and now they decay as new developments await. And then the book has some definitions that are provided, like kind of a primer, like blight, red line, gentrification, and ruin are all defined for those who might be unfamiliar with the term. So first we talked a little about like gentrification. You mentioned that the first sign of gentrification that you saw in your neighborhood was the closing of all the corner stores close to your home. And although many will argue that gentrification is not a bad thing, you stated that you disagree, saying that gentrification is an aggressive tactic that is non-exclusive for minorities and for the poor. So can you talk a little bit about what you meant with that true statement?
Man, so I literally just moved from my neighborhood, my childhood neighborhood, in 2019. And like up until then, it's just been like, you could just tell. Well, like, okay, I was on Facebook one day, and like I was talking about gentrification, and someone was like, gentrification is not bad. Who would be against their neighborhood being fixed up and blah blah blah? And I'm like, well, most of the time when neighborhoods are fixed up and changed and buildings are knocked down, you don't see the people who used to be around there and everything like that. And it's slowly happening in my neighborhood. Like they built a new luxury apartment building, and like all the stores are gone. There's literally nowhere to get food except for like Collins Market, which got renovated and doesn't have any of the stuff that it had before, except for like a few stalls. So it's like a slow, like, it's not like, hey, you gotta go right now, but it's like eventually you gotta go.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And you see that in a lot of neighborhoods in Baltimore. Like, this area might be like the projects or something for like a long time. And then like they just come and start overhauling stuff, and they give people vouchers to move in the county and things like that. And it's just like, eventually I feel like that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Black urban communities in the county and all the white people back in the city. When they didn't want to be in the city, they it's a confusing thing, but it's definitely happening. And one part of this book, one part of the reason that I wanted to do this book is to make people aware, especially like residents in the neighborhood who, you know, when you're in the midst of going through poverty or whatever, you are not like worried about what's going on around you. You worry about keeping your family fed and housed and what you got to go through on a day-to-day basis. So I think that people have an advantage when it comes to those neighborhoods, because it's like they're like, oh, well, these people are not even paying attention. So let's go and do what we got to do for real. And they ain't even gonna know. They just gonna think they, going to somewhere better. And a lot of people do think that. They're like, well, going in the county to a nice house, but there's no way for me to get back in the city. Y'all changed all the bus routes. So like, there's no easy way to get in the city. There's no easy way to get out. It's a lot, man, to that.
Well, yeah, like that. It's a reason why the book is important. So thank you. So how long did you work on the book?
The book itself, a year.
A year?
Probably like a year or so. The project for 2 years.
Okay. Did you have any collaborators? Is it just you?
As far as like photography, it was just me. I had people who like went along with me when I did take pictures, such as and people like I've kind of like crossed, I guess their projects align with mine. So like I guess you call it collaboration. Like Shae, I worked with I worked with Kirby, but me and Kirby were Kirby Griffin, we were working together on the same project and cross paths that way. And then there were like friends of mine who went with me like on different like days to go and photograph and stuff. So
okay. So now I'm gonna read a little bit about the Black butterfly and the white elf for people that might not know. So according to racial equity consultant and the author of The Black Butterfly, The Harmful Politics of Race and Space in America, Dr. Lawrence T. Brown, the term Black butterfly is used to describe the geographic clustering of where Black Baltimoreans live. The phrase denotes not only where Black Baltimoreans are geographically clustered, but also where capital does not cluster and where structural disadvantages have accumulated due to the lack of capital access. And those are areas like Penn North, Cherry Hill, Loch Raven, Waverly. The term white L is the description of the geographic clustering where white Baltimoreans live. The white L describes not only where white Baltimoreans live, but also where access to capital is most readily available and the structural advantages incurred due to that capital access. That's areas like Mount Washington, Roland Park, Hamden, Remington, Fells, Little Italy. Those are also areas like talking about structural advantages. There's also like the amount of policing that is, yeah. So how much of the West Baltimore ruins creation and design was inspired by Dr. Brown's research? Just out of curiosity.
So the part that is in there about the Black butterfly, that was specifically for him. Before I actually knew who he was, I was researching about it and trying to find information because I first heard about it in college. When I was going to UB and I had community studies, my professor touched on that.
Yeah.
And once I looked it up, I kept seeing his name. So I'm like, okay, who is this person? And then my publisher, she told me who he was and how he coined that phrase, the Black butterfly. And so I just went on to ask him, like, ask him about his research because I felt like it was very extensive and it was very important. And I asked him, could I include, because at first I paraphrased information that I found from his, from articles, about him. And, I was just like, why not go to the source? So I went to the source, asked him, could I include some information from him about the book directly, and you know, we talked, and I'm really appreciative of him sharing that information, especially from his new book. Like, and y'all need to cop that. I'm copping that. But yeah, that was that particular part of the book was just like inspired by him.
Thank you. So there's some questions, but we'll get to that soon.
I was seeing them. I was getting nervous.
I forget. So I just want to talk about one of the definitions that's in here, blight. So blight, you said blight and Baltimore are too often referenced together. And I really like this phrase: the neglect of neighborhoods in West Baltimore and the purposeful depreciation of them for future non-inclusive developments is an ugly truth. So it's like, this ugliness is not caused by the residents that live there. It's by the powers that be that are allowing these things to happen. So in 2019, 17,000 was the occurring statistic for the number of abandoned homes in Baltimore City. And by June 2020, 18,006 vacant homes were reported to be scheduled for demolition. So I know that last year you shot the cover, and I know you mentioned Zadia's earlier, her Vacants project. How did that collaboration happen? Because I know that they're not directly connected, but they are kind of connected.
They're connected because me and Shae are both from West Baltimore, so that was perfect for me. Actually, I think one day she was just randomly like hit me up, you know, and was talking to me about the project, and then like shortly after we just started, you know, going out and shooting. I really enjoyed it because I was like, I'm about to cry. I'm sorry, but I really enjoyed it because I just felt like we were on a field trip. It didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like, oh my God, I got to do this. It felt so organic, and the images we grabbed, and it just, everything just flowed. And the songs on the project kind of like flowed with the mood of my project. So that's her song on the promo video too.
Yeah.
But it just all flowed. But it was literally like a random thing.
It's a beautiful cover. I'm happy we can show the trailer in a minute because it's perfect. We're getting more questions. This is great. So I'm lucky in my phone. Okay, so this is more about the book aesthetically. So I know originally that the book was supposed to be in black and white, and you made an editorial decision to change it. And when you gave me the book yesterday, I remember just like looking at it and my eyes just being like, okay, these colors are amazing. So I was kind of thinking when I was reading it last night, I'll be like, what would this book be like if it was in black and white? And it would still be extremely powerful, but there's just something about the colors that's really striking. So just like, so you made a good decision, but also, how did you get there?
So thank Destiny for that. I know she on here. But thank her for that, because literally we were done. You were about to be like, all right, you know, let's ship it to the printer and get like a proof and see how it's gonna look. And Destiny was just like, we should change the color. And at first I was like, oh my God, we're right here. We're right here. I don't want to change it. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, those pictures are very vibrant, and there's so much texture and all of that in the photos. And I feel like with black and white, even though it would have showed like, I think the black and white would have made it look more like somber and not really like jubilant.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the message. Like, even though housing vacancy is a thing, and it is a thing that is been going on for a long time, I also wanted to show the beauty in that, because once upon a time, people lived in those places, people had businesses in those places, and they thrived. So the color, I think, was a very, very good idea, very good decision.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can always get it printed another time with the black and white, but you're right. It's like, the colors are so good.
But I like the fact that the cover is still black and white, because it's like, you're like, okay, I'm about to get this black and white book, and it's just about to be all black and white photos, and you open it and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking at it. Yes, it's good. So like the last time we actually worked together was, it still feels like 2020. Wow, it was summer 2020 when we did the People United exhibition with Rebel Lens. And so I wanted to work with you with that. Casey McKeel was my co-curator, but we chose your work based on the strength and clarity of your photographs. I think there's something super sharp and present about the photos that you take, and that translates whether you're taking pictures of people or whether you're taking pictures of houses. So when you began taking the photographs that are in this book, or when they were on the Instagram account initially, in your mind at all, did you know that you eventually wanted to make a book?
No. It literally was just me on the like, because I was still living in my childhood neighborhood, so I would just be walking. Like a lot of times when I'm walking to like my grandmother's house or like walking downtown or walking somewhere, I always be walking. I would just take photos and then I would post them on Instagram, and people would be like, "Oh my God, like you made that!" And somebody said something about me. You know how I take portraits of people? It's like I'm taking portraits of homes. And how those homes kind of become lively when I photograph them. But yeah, it started off as just that, and then like as it developed and I developed the purpose for it and everything like that, I was like, okay, this needs to be a book because this is history. And like literally as I was photographing all of these places, a lot of them are not even homes anymore, they're flattened. So I'm just glad to have been able to grab some things, even things I remembered as a child, buildings and businesses that were closing and all types of stuff. So,
so let me see. So this is not directly related to the book, but I know that you have some projects on the way. What's going on? What's next? What's happening?
Well, we're gonna ride the book wave for a while.
Yes.
I have an exhibition with UMBC next month. I think the 11th I'll be speaking. I'll be doing something similar to this.
Oh, nice.
And then I think I'm working with the Smithsonian Institute to talk to some kids here about my photography and how to tell stories with photography and things like that. And then I really want to start making perfume.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, that's fantastic.
That's like my little personal project I want to do.
That's cool. Keep me posted.
I will.
like you know, what's saying is I remember seeing about like your exhibition at Red Emma's, and I did go and see. You had a photo exhibition. I can't remember. All Time is Running Together that I saw. So I would love to see these photos in real life one day eventually, but right now I have the book.
I plan on. I want to. I feel like they would look so good printed and like putting it up somewhere.
Yeah.
So I gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
Because the exhibition I'm doing with UMBC is online. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I want to like actually print them though and hang them somewhere. So I can figure it out.
So I have one more kind of like historical context question, and then we can show the book trailer, which is beautiful, and then some of the photos, we can talk about them, and we have a lot of questions. So this is one that I definitely wanted to get out there. So one of the definitions that like kind of stuck out for me was redline. So it's a verb. It's to refuse a loan or insurance to someone because they live in an area deemed to be a poor financial risk. And then according to the 1937 Baltimore residential safety map, the majority of the photographs you took were taken in red, yellow, or blue areas on that map. You were raised in the Poppleton community or Lexington Terrace, and that was the inspiration for you making red areas the focus of the project. So red line ranking goes from red, those neighborhoods that have been deemed high risk, and those areas that are considered undesirable for living. The qualities of those areas are a low percentage of home ownership and an influx of criminal activity. While green areas are those areas that good mortgage lenders typically seek, and they're the areas that are not fully built and they are more desirable to lenders. So can you just tell me more about why you chose to select areas from the red area for this project?
Because of where I grew up, that area has been, I mean, even though there are homeowners in that area, that area is definitely high risk with crime and also like low income people who live around there and things like that. So I felt like it was more relatable.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like the people that the book is kind of for will understand that as well. So
yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's look at this trailer. Let me share my screen. Oh, 1 second. Because I watched it like 3 times. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
This is Argyle Avenue. It's October 2019. This whole block, except for one house, it's vacant. Vacant.
Sunsets over them vacant. We like water.
West Baltimore Ruins is a photography archive of like the neglect of West Baltimore's housing. And the purpose of it kind of developed as I took pictures, because I was like getting people who would message me about different things, and then I'm like, yeah, this is going on.
Sunsets over them vacant. We like water.
I didn't know that we were living in like, you know, abject poverty. I didn't know any of that. Knew we was on welfare, knew all of that. But like they the ones that gave us this house.
Windows bordered, but the sun gon' shine through.
No one's really taking care of these structures. These structures have been around for years and have not been either like demolished or fixed up or anything like that. So I kind of started this project to bring attention to that this is what West Baltimore is looking like.
What you gonna do when they come for you? We like water in the summertime. Thank you for coming, folks. Next stop, West Baltimore.
That was so nice. Oh, sorry.
It is, and also the book is here now, which is so cool.
Yes.
That's yeah. Manifestation is amazing. You did that. It looks That was 2018 when you made that.
So it's different clips. So it's clips from like 2000, probably like 2019 up until 2020.
Okay.
Not, I think between 2019 2020.
So where did you take this photo?
That is West Fayette Street.
Okay.
I think that is, I want to say the 1100 block. But yeah, something like that. That is South Baltimore.
Do you remember the days you took these? The exact time? All that?
No, I just remember where they are though.
Oh yeah.
That's Lombard Street. That is Holland Street. I'll wait for it. That is, I want to say Arlington. Yes. That's Arlington and Saratoga, kind of sort of. I think that's on Druid Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's on Druid Hill. And wait for next.
Oh wow.
That's Westport. Yep.
This one made me stop when I saw
That's Park Heights. I don't remember which street, but that is in Park Heights.
Okay. So those are the images I have. Let's get into some questions.
Ooh.
It's gonna.
I was seeing them pop up. I'm like,
it's gonna be good. Okay. So the editorial suite asked, what was the one thing that you learned about West Baltimore during this project?
I mean, that is even more beautiful than I thought it was. Anytime I'm over West, I spend time in like one area, or maybe I frequent the same few areas because of like family and friends. But as I started to go to places that I never really thought I would go, I'm like, yo, it's really beautiful. And the fact that all of these places are vacant it kind of breaks my heart. There was this whole street in Park Heights. I think it was Park Heights and Woodland. Whole street vacant. Only one person lived on that block. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, but it's a beautiful block. So yeah, I think I learned more about the beauty, and I learned more about like the actual like those terms that are in the book. I learned a lot researching that stuff.
Yeah.
So
when I said that it's a historical record, I was just thinking about how you said you wanted to think about or remember what it's going to be like in the next 4 years. Because I've only been here for 5 years and I've seen things change. So I'm just like,
right.
This is always going to be like a snapshot of what was happening, because things are going to be different. I don't know what's going to happen, but like they tore down next to me and they're making some really fancy apartment thing. And I'm like, here we go. So
and Lexington Market, man, that broke my heart. I mean, I know it probably is going to look all fancy smashy, but the culture, man.
Yeah.
It was all about the culture for me, like just being able to walk down there and like I can go get a chicken box or whatever kind of food. I can get some oils. I can get some other miscellaneous things and be about my business. Get some DVDs, all of that. And now it's just like I went there yesterday. Yesterday. And it's just a little piece of the market, and it's just like everything's crammed into that one little area. And it's still not even a lot, and it's still not as alive as it has been. I miss the band playing and all of that stuff, man. It's just, I know it's gonna be different. And I hate the way they let Howard Street go. Like how the Howard and Lexington corridor is like dead. It's dead, man. But yeah, reliving those memories as I took photos, man, it was a good experience. I'll say that.
So Destiny asked, can you share I think this is your friend. She said, can you share your vision behind the aesthetic? Hold on, sorry. Can you share your vision behind the aesthetic of the book, and how meaningful is it for your vision?
Aesthetic. I don't like that word. But I mean, a lot of stuff just flows with me. So it's like, if it looks right to me, it's like, whatever. I don't really like plan a lot around how things are going to look. So this is probably the most that I've planned around how something's going to be structured and looks.
How many images? Sorry.
It's, so it's like 200 and something pages, but excluding the writing, I would say it's probably a good, you don't make me count.
It's okay.
It's definitely over 150 photos. Definitely over that. Yeah, definitely over that.
So Darlene says, is it difficult to renovate a vacant and to infuse life back? Oh, she said it is difficult to renovate a vacant and to infuse life back into it. Why is it that some have become disenchanted with West Baltimore and have stopped taking care of the structures in themselves? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I would not be able to tell you that. I was living in it. So like, I would not be able to tell you like why people stopped caring. I don't know if it's because, you know, people have their own perception of Black urban people or whatever, and they just don't give up. I don't want to cuss, but they just don't GAF about us. They think that we're all uneducated and poor and will not take care of anything. That is what I've heard before, and I've heard that from Black people as well, Black people in like middle class or whatever. But I don't think that is true at all. It's like y'all don't give us a chance. But yeah, it's when they do renovate these vacants, when they have like my house. Matter of fact, the house that my mom lives in now was vacant for a long time, and then like the property management company around there or whatever, they renovated that house, but they did not do a good job.
Yeah.
So usually when they do that, they usually is like just throwing some paint over some like old ass walls, or like covering carpet over some old ass floors, and not tending to things that they need to tend to. So
yeah, I think there was a point in the book when you were saying that there was the new thing that the city had redone, and it was like renovated, but there was like mold that was there before.
My mother's house.
But and then after it's still there, and there was like a hole, and I'm like, how is that renovation? Like, how is that?
Yeah, it really wasn't. It was just like y'all just kind of like threw some new stuff in there, and it was like, hey, here's your new house. That's how they do us.
Darlene said, I love West Baltimore and my people. It has become so quiet and does not reverberate with chatter. Did you find this to be the case when you were compiling pictures?
Oh, yes. Especially my neighborhood. Even though my neighborhood is very high in crime at the moment, I went around there. It was so eerie. It was like nobody outside, really nobody, like you didn't hear anything. There's a lot of neighborhoods like that. And I think because they're stripped of certain things that contributed to the culture in that neighborhood. Like my neighborhood had a rec center at one point. We had a pool. We had like stuff going on, activities. Like even though University of Maryland like kind of like is overhauling that area, and like they're trying to bring community back to the area, I just don't think it's going to work. I think it's like, okay, yeah, y'all have festivals, give away free stuff, and try to give these people like information about what's happening, but I think it's too late.
So I have a question for you. So how did you like take care of yourself, maintain sanity during this year of pandemic hell, and still create this product? Because that's what's incredible to me, is that you did this.
I don't know. I just didn't feel like I was like, I felt like when the pandemic first started, I was like probably one of the first people that my friends knew that went to the hospital to get tested and all of that stuff. So once that shabazz was out of the way, it was just like, okay, I got stuff to do. I just need to keep myself safe, keep myself healthy, and keep working. I got to make money to live. Right. So I have to, make sure I'm on my stuff for real. So that was the motivation. I had to keep a roof over my head, food in my mouth. I gotta create, because creating, helps my mental. And yeah.
So Miss Melanie Rains asked, have you taken a moment to reflect on how it all came together? And are you aware of how profound this project is?
Woo. I try to take little pit stops, and I'm like, whoa, I'm really doing this. Yeah. But I don't think I think once all of the everything that I needed to get done is done. So I feel like, I want to take a trip and like a retreat and like go and be by myself and reflect on it, because I don't think I've probably properly done it yet. I am aware how important this is to Baltimore. At first I was kind of doubtful. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna be worried about no photo book. Like, it's just photos. But no, people want it. And I'm like, come get it.
Yeah. Yes. So I know that, so that there are some copies left. So it like is officially dropped tomorrow. You can go get signed by you at 10 a.m. Yeah, I'm gonna buy another one to put on my bookshelf. So I'm
about to say, girl, you got that one.
I know, I'm gonna purchase one to support you. So thank you. But we do have a couple more questions. So Destiny asks, could you share your experience with your publishing assistant?
Oh, yes. I really think that Angel did a very good job. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Even at the times we got frustrated and, was trying to figure things out, she got it done and was very professional about it. And I definitely will work with her again. Like, she made this publishing experience very easy. I feel like, even with the difficult parts, we were able to go through it.
Mhm.
And Destiny, even like with her editing the written parts of my book, and then like just being encouraging, and like you need people like that around you that encourage you and are passionate about your project just as much as you. I feel like that's the only way that things are gonna work and move smoothly. And it definitely taught me about putting my trust in people that I'm working with. You gotta trust the people you're working with, definitely.
Yeah. So Lisa Snowden McCoy says, what kind of work does Shae see herself doing in 10 years?
Oh, hi, Lisa. It's hard to say. I mean, I still want to be shooting, of course. I think I want to but I just don't. How can I explain this? I like being in the spotlight, like it's cool, but I really want to be ducked off, just doing my thing, like shooting and going different places to speak and making books and doing gallery. I see myself as like a gallery artist, like just doing galleries and.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So yeah, the show's coming up. This is not your last book by any means. So
no.
Does it? I think that's all the questions, so we can get ready to wrap up. Thank you.
I'm gonna sleep.
I was gonna say, you can have some wine, get chill. But Shae, thank you. It means a lot that you asked me to moderate this conversation or be a part of it. I'm so proud of you. Like you.
Thank you. I'm glad that you made me feel so comfortable. So I'm glad that they had you speak with me.
Oh yeah, I was so nervous, but I was like, you know what? She's gonna be with me. It's gonna be fun. And I talked to Malcolm about it. He's like, y'all are gonna be fine. I was like, okay, let's do it. So, but I'm so proud of you. Like you inspire me. So this is awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thanks everybody who joined and for the questions. Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us on this talk. Thank you so much, Shae and Terry. This was just absolutely wonderful. And yeah, buy the book. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow.
Yeah,
So.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be there.
See you tomorrow.
Yep. Have a good one, everybody.
All right, bye.